Hi, and welcome to the Emotionally Challenged podcast. This show is for anyone who at some point in their lives has struggled to manage their emotions. So if you've ever let your emotions get the best of you, if you've spiraled to the sunken place at the slightest trigger, or maybe you just want to ride the self-help train, then this podcast is for you. We'll be laughing and learning our way to a better understanding of what our emotions tell us, how they influence us, and most importantly, how we can use them to change our lives. Join in the discussion by sharing your comments and thoughts. And if you're interested in having a free, anonymous coaching session with me here on the show, you can contact me directly at hello@NikoleSeals.com, and that's Nikole with a K. Be sure to subscribe to the show and rate your favorite episode on iTunes, Podcast Addict, or Stitcher Radio. To learn more, visit my website, NikoleSeals.com, for access to articles, videos, self-help programs, and more. You can also follow me on Instagram at MyInnerTherapist or subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll find all of my links in the show's description section. All right, enough with the intro. Let's get emotional. Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of the Emotionally Challenged podcast. I am your host and empowerment coach, Nikole Seals, and welcome to the video version of today's show. So today we're going to be talking about self-help tools, mostly like the self-help industry, and we're going to be asking ourselves if self-help tools and programs actually work. Now, what you need to know is that the self-improvement or self-help industry is huge. It is a billion-dollar industry. And according to marketresearch.com, this industry is going to grow to about $13 billion in the year 2022. And you know what's crazy is I used to think 2022 sounded really far away. And the fact is that it's actually only about 4 years away. And if you're watching this in 2022, it's here now. So what we want to ask ourselves is if self-help tools actually work, and if they do, what is it that you need to look for and able to decide something that's worth your time and money and something that you just need to step away from? Now, one of the first things I want to just talk about and really acknowledge is the fact that we are living in a time that's incredibly challenging and difficult. People are really, really struggling. So there are a lot of people out there who are feeling either unhappy, depressed, sad, anxious. There's also this feeling of having a void, of not really having a purpose or meaning to your life. And some people are out there really just struggling with living a life that's not fulfilled, kind of just stuck on the hamster wheel, doing the same thing over again, and really wanting to find something that's gonna kind of pull them out of that rut. So we have to understand that those are the emotions that come up, and that typically those are the reasons why people seek out self-help tools. Is we want to look for something that's going to guide us in the direction of being more fulfilled, of experiencing more joy and excitement in our lives. Not that we're going to completely rid ourselves of any kind of pain or hurt or sadness, but maybe develop some coping skills and some abilities to be able to manage those emotions a little bit better. So the question then becomes, if we are spending nearly $13 billion on self-help tools, yet it seems as if we're all starting to feel more and more miserable as time goes on, what is happening? We're spending all this money and investing all this money and energy into these products, and yet we still feel bad. And so the question then becomes, is it worth it? Now, my answer to this question, and this is based purely on my professional opinion and having worked in the mental health field for over 20 years, is that yes, self-help tools and programs do work. Now, there's a key component to what makes them successful, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But what I want to do is I first want to identify what makes them ineffective. how you can steer clear of those programs and those self-help tools that are out there that are going to be a waste of your time and energy. Because unfortunately, with a $13 billion industry, that means that people are going to want to jump on the bandwagon and extract some of that income and profit out of this industry, and maybe not necessarily have your best interest at heart, or maybe not necessarily have any type of experience or foundation of facts and evidence that they're basing their information on, that they're then passing on to you. So what we want to do is we want to get a little bit better at qualifying what is a quality program or tool versus what is just a lot of hype, right? Because there is a lot of hype out there. If you walk through a bookstore, you go online and you're shopping for books online, or if you just type in self-help programs into Google or whatever your search engine is, you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff that comes up. You can spend days on end looking for the right program, and at the end of the day, it may not be right for you. So there's really 3 areas we want to pay attention to when we are researching whether or not this self-help tool or program is going to be appropriate for you. And the first is you want to look at the product itself. You want to see if that product is using terms like quick and easy, or turn your life around in 5 days, become a new you by tomorrow. If they're making a lot of false promises, if they're using a lot of adverbs that make it sound like it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to you, and if it's based on a lot of fluff, just fluffy words that make you feel good. And the other thing is, if it's based on outdated information, if it's old, or if it appears to be something that you know that you've tried before and just fell flat, you really want to make sure that you look for all of those signs in any kind of potential program, seminar, be it a seminar or a workshop that you're going to attend. Make sure that you look for those, let's call them red flags. And if you see them, be very cautious and take your time in really going through, looking at reviews, and finding out whether or not this product actually has any validity to it. If those Yelp reviews or if they're actual testimonials on the site, really read through them and see if people's lives have changed. And they're saying their lives have changed in 1 or 2 days. Right, I'm going to tell you right now, just skip it and move on to another program. The second that you're going to want to look for is when it comes to people, the people behind the program. Now, this might sound really strange coming from me because I actually run self-help programs. Like I said, I've been in the field of mental health for years, so counseling is in my background, and I develop self-help tools and programs for people. So for me, it's really important that I make sure that people are aware of what my expertise, my background, my experience, my education, also my modality. And by modality, I mean, what is my approach to helping people? What is my evidence and my research that I use for my programs? And those are really important things to know. So as you're looking at someone, whether it's your coach or your mentor or your guru, and you're considering using their programs, get up in their business and find out what exactly they've been doing for years before. What's really, really helpful is to hear their own story, to find out what their challenges have been in life. Because I guarantee you, if somebody has not used their own programs and tools themselves to improve their lives, then they are really just after your money. You want somebody who has been in your shoes or can understand the shoes that you're wearing right now and has pulled themselves out of it, has pulled themselves up, has found success, has overcome challenges, and not just one big challenge, but this is something that they've repeatedly had to do in their lives, because this is a learning process. It doesn't just end with one barrier or obstacle. This is really about being able to overcome all of the future obstacles that lie ahead of us. The last part is I really want you to focus on perspective. And the best way that I can explain this is by really thinking about yourself, having some self-awareness and understanding your mindset and where you're coming from. And this is the key to whether or not a self-help program or self-help tools are going to be useful for you. Because I'll tell you this, if you are a type of person who's prone to being lazy, not following through, not really having much discipline in your life, really, really struggling to motivate yourself on your own, I hate to tell you this, but any program is probably not going to work for you. You have to actually do the work. The program doesn't do the work for you. The self-help tool is not going to do the work for you. It is solely up to you. So if you recognize that you really aren't in a place in your life where you're ready to do that level of work, then you have to first work on getting yourself to that place before you make any kind of investment in a self-help tool or a program. You have to be ready to do the work, and you have to be willing to show up in that practice every single day, because I'm telling you, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. Self-improvement is an ongoing process. It means that you wake up daily with the commitment to do what you need to do to improve yourself. So I want you to take all of those things into account when we're talking about what to look for in a self-help program. And if you see those things, right, if you're questioning yourself and your abilities and thinking, I'm just not ready right now and I'm not in a good space to do this level of work, or, this particular guru seems like he doesn't necessarily know what he's talking about and he's using a lot of hype words to get me pulled in, and he's really playing on my emotions, put the pause button on, take a step back, continue your research. Don't spend your money and time. Now, I will tell you where to spend your money and time, and these are the things that you want to look for when it comes to a self-help tool and a program that is probably going to be worth your while and does have the potential to be able to help you change your life. And that's three different areas I want you to look for. So the first we're going to focus on, is it a program or does it have an educational component to it? Is it about knowledge and information that's going to educate you? Because that's really what self-help is about. It's self-education. It's getting access to information that we did not have before, that is new to us, that we could then apply to our lives. So we really want to make sure that the information that we get is new, it's evidence-based, it's based in some form of science, whether that's neuroscience or it's in the field of psychology. You want to make sure that there's some basis for that information or those tools. You also really want to find a program that is focused on moving you from being externally motivated, where we're looking for things in our outside world to motivate us and to move us and to propel us to grow and move forward, versus being internally motivated, where that comes from within. And it's really that internal motivation that actually gets you the result of change. External motivation just gets you the result of dependence. So you want to find a program that's actually going to help you develop some internal motivation, some self-motivation, so that you have the skills that you need to be able to stay committed, to stay disciplined, to show up in the work, and to make good choices. We really have to stop depending on the external world to do that for us, because that is not going to get us the change that we need. And typically what it does is it leaves people feeling pretty disappointed. Now, the last area really just is the most important. I probably could have started the whole video off with this, but if you don't remember anything else from this, remember this. It takes work. It is not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen in 21 days. It's not going to probably happen in 30 days. The change, real long-lasting change, is a lot of work. And I'm not trying to scare you off. I'm just trying to be as truthful and upfront with you as possible. I will tell you, my clients who I've worked with, some for years, always call for check-ins, right? We're constantly doing tune-ups. Whether we work for 6 months and we take some time off and they go and apply everything that they've learned in their life, and we call and we check in and we have a tune-up, because it is an ongoing practice. So if you find this program and it's telling you and it's being upfront and it's being transparent, like, listen, this is going to involve some work, right? There's going to be exercises. You're going to have to practice this every day. And there's going to be repetition, and it's going to feel mundane sometimes. And you're going to feel like, okay, I feel like I'm just on a different type of hamster wheel. You have to be okay with the commitment. You have to be invested in that time. So I really want you to take that into account when you're deciding on these programs and you're doing your research, or maybe you're about to make a really big investment in going to a seminar. Just do your research. Check in with yourself and see if you are actually committed to the work. Look for the red flags that we talked about. And then make sure that you go into it not expecting immediate changes. Baby step your way through this. Change comes from just making small changes on a repetitive, routine basis. And that's what it's all about. Okay, I hope this information was helpful to you. If you have additional questions about self-motivation or the self-help industry, please make sure that you go to NikoleSeals.com. Check out my website. I've got great blog posts on there, but I also have tools on there that can help you. And a lot of my tools are just in trying to help you to determine exactly what areas of your life you need to be targeting, but also if you're ready to do the work that's necessary and how to get yourself ready to get to that point. So hope you found this information helpful. All right, check in for our next video.